should be a
Yay, you
little
look
better.
great.
So do you. I feel like I should have wore my shirt. It's hanging up right there.
No, I was debating what should I wear. I know you're going to
Yeah.
wear that solar panel, and I thought maybe I should wear something different. I wanted to
Oh,
wear it today, but then I thought, I can't decide. Actually, I'm wearing both the top and the dress at the same time.
really?
Yeah, so you can
Oh,
see
that's so great. Oh, that's so cool to
the
actually
image.
see it now moving. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. Wow. That is so cool for everyone who's joining and who maybe doesn't know what we're talking about. Kitty has designed both of these garments that we're wearing, and we're going to be talking about that. I'm so excited, but this is my first time being able to see that garment actually in operation and showing the different like gifts and stuff. That's so cool. Let me go grab my shirt. That is so cool. Yeah. So this is mine.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
I
think
tried
that
to put the screen on the top too, but it's a little too small. The screen is bigger, so it's hard to
yeah.
fit on the front. So, but the
Well,
dress works fine.
I think it works perfectly on the dress. It definitely, I think, makes more sense too. Because I think I love the flowiness of this. It just
Yeah.
feels a lot better than probably if the screen was maybe on it. But I'm sure you'll eventually come up with something to do that. So let's say hi to everyone, by the way. I think,
Hey everybody.
hello everyone, for everyone who's joining. Hi. This is really exciting. I'm glad that we're doing this live together, Kitty, because I haven't gone live on Instagram in a very, very long time. So, so I'm really happy
I
we're
know
doing
you've been
this.
doing all the like podcasts and a lot of programs. Very exciting.
Yeah, actually just got off recording an episode probably about 5 minutes ago of Space Talk. So we're gonna have you
But
on there sometime.
yeah, we'd love to join
Yeah.
you.
By the way, these comments are just crazy. I can't even scroll through it because there's just so many things coming in right now.
Yeah.
So awesome. So should we do a little bit of an introduction of ourselves?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, you go first.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kitty. I'm the designer for the tech fashion brand Art by Physicist. So this is where I'm drawing from the brand's account. And I am a physicist as well as an artist. So I have been working on quantum computing, and I do painting, and then I put painting on the clothing. And I also put technology on the clothing. So that's the specialty of the brand. Athena is actually wearing one of my designs that's got the solar panel on the bow on the shoulder. So she can actually use this to charge her electronics like a phone. There is a cable inside. You can take it out and then plug into your phone and put the phone into the bow. So this is, for example, this is the type of tech clothing that I design. I'm also wearing something here. It's hard to see on the screen, but this is the dress I'm wearing. So look closely. It's got this panel underneath the earth, and it's actually
So
changing.
cool.
You
What are
can,
the images?
sorry?
What are the different images? Do
Yeah,
you make
I
them
actually
yourself?
do them. So you just saw a rising sun from Earth, and now this is the rotating moon, and this is the logo.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you can see the lights on Earth.
Yeah. That is so incredible. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So these are the things that I design. I love to combine art and technology and science. This is a way to communicate. And Athena is a great communicator there. So she
Well,
understands
thank
the
you.
nuance of communicating science and space with artistic ways. So yeah, thank you everyone
I
for
love
joining.
that.
Athena.
Oh, it's so good. That's why I'm like so happy that we got connected. And I'm pretty sure it was here on Instagram is how we first got connected, right? I think that's how it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. And it's so funny
Actually, I
because
think you saw one of my designs in the in-person event in LA.
I did. Yes, it was the Starry Night. Let me grab that. It was this gorgeous dress. and I was so attracted to the part right on the bottom. There are these tiny little LED lights. I'm sure you could explain it a lot better than I could. But I'm gonna get the switch on here, and it lights up. And I saw someone, I'm pretty sure it was at Yuri's night. Yeah, I saw someone in it, and I was like, what? And they told me about you, and that's how we got connected.
Yes.
Yeah, this is so amazing. And I think it's incredible, like what you're saying about combining art and science, because I think we all probably could agree that, you know, if it wasn't for art, there wouldn't be as much inspiration for like for different technologies and science, you know, like, I mean, just the rockets behind me, like that takes an artistic vision to create that. And science inspires so much art. I mean, so much, like my laptop cover. I mean, like, you know, we find inspiration all the time from science. So I love that you merge the two. And on top of that, you not just create incredible garments, but the fact that they're tech, that you like ingrain technology into it. Because wearable tech is something that I started getting interested in probably like right before we met. There was a fashion week where there was just all this different type of stuff where there's like cell phone chargers within wallets, and it was usually always kind of a separate component. But this is the first time that I've ever had something where there's literally a battery pack. This is the light battery pack right here.
Yeah, it's a thing too.
Yeah. So that's so cool. So a little bit of I guess my introduction, even though I think a lot of people here might, my followers might know me, but your followers might not. And so hello, my name is Athena. I'm a science communicator here, more specifically in astronomy and astrophysics, because that is what my background was when I was in school. Currently in the process of returning to school after pursuing a career in fashion modeling for about a decade. So very excited to be going to school to do research. So really excited for that. So very young when I did it, 19, 20, and now I just hit 30. And so I really kind of want to, you know, and this is my own journey, but I want to kind of share that with others, because like if a decade passes and you're like, I'm at a different place, I'm a different person, kind of like now I have different knowledge about life. That can affect maybe how you feel about things that you felt differently about a long time ago when you were younger. Like so with that being said, I'm so excited about this journey that I'm currently on, and I've got a podcast and all of my incredible friends here online, and so that's kind of a little bit of a gist of sort of what I do. Create this online platform mainly around trying to just sort of get more of like the interest of space science, the information that is being discovered of astronomy out to people. And whether it's through like trying to break down a really complicated scientific journal, or it's making a DIY experiment for, you know, young kids or maybe even adults, I find total joy in it and I love it. And so that's why I created Astro Athens. So that's a little bit about me.
That's amazing. Are you going to study astronomy again?
Yeah. So I definitely want to go do that. I want to like spend some time. So since I'm in Austin at the McDonald Observatory, and some exciting stuff right before we did this live, I was finding all these different star parties that exist around Austin, Texas. And so if anyone wants to ever visit, I'm going to compile a list of all the things that are going on, free events you can go to and meet people. And at UT, University of Texas, Austin, on their roof of the physics, astronomy, and math building, every Wednesday at 8:30, they have a star party, free to the public. So I'm going to be going to those probably quite a bit, just to sort of meet fellow astronomy lovers and space peeps.
I can't wait to get back to in-person meetings.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I definitely cannot wait.
I definitely resonate with you with the decade apart being a lot of personal growth and discoveries about the world. So for me, I also have a recent change. So, you know, I've been working for Microsoft. I'm still at Microsoft. I've been working with Microsoft Quantum Computing. And so I actually produce a lot of communication about quantum computing using comics to teach people how the science works.
Wow.
And I recently got this opportunity to start a startup within Microsoft that is not related to quantum, but again, using my background in art and fashion. So it is using technology to help the fashion industry. I would have not thought about this like 10 years ago because I was a grad student. I was, well, actually 10 years ago, I might have graduated, but yeah, I was just a pure scientist, researcher, and science was all I wanted to do. But I also love art, so I've been doing that on the side as a hobby. And I started making this fashion brands as a hobby, started creating the clothes by hand myself. But then when I went into manufacturing, I discovered all these problems in the industry where it's not up to date with the latest technologies. To make a piece of garment takes a really, really long time. It's a very slow manual process. But at the end of the day, the market is dominated by mass-produced goods that do not support creative designs like this. So most of the brands are making mass-produced clothing that actually globally 30% of clothes is never sold. And they are getting dumped to landfill and being burned. So I was heartbroken when I found out about this. And that's why I decided to explore how do we use technology to change this status quo? How do we help the industry move to a more sustainable and efficient way of producing clothes and support creative designs? Designers have all kinds of crazy ideas, but then if they don't have a minimum order quantity, it's very hard to get things produced. So now I started yesterday, actually. It was my first full time on this startup journey. So,
wow.
Yeah, so it's also a mindset shift, discovering all these things in the past. It was really worth it. So I thought about how do we use, because I'm familiar with how computer chips are manufactured.
Right.
And then I compared the electronics manufacturing with clothing manufacturing. It's very different how the industries are run. So there's a lot of things that we can learn from the electronics manufacturing, apply that to the fashion industry. So that's
so
my maybe next 10 years.
Yeah, that's so important too, because when you shared that bit about how I didn't realize it was 30% of a lot of the clothes that are mass produced end up in a dump. And I remember I did learn first that existed when I was working for a client. I won't say the name of the designer, but in New York, I was working their showroom department, and I was in my changing room was a closet, and that was kind of where I hung out, was inside the closet until I was needed. And I was just filled with so many clothes, and they were looking for this one garment, so I was like helping them. I'm like, oh, is it probably on one of these racks? And they're like, oh no, that's all going to the dump. Like that's discarded material. Like these are old collections, but they're brand new garments with like very saturated dyes, which are extremely harmful when it starts to break down. Does not get recycled. It does not get broken down naturally. It ends up releasing really bad emissions and pollution. And when it just starts to decay, it doesn't really decay naturally. A lot of it is polyester fibers and all this stuff. And I just remember, this was probably 4 years ago, I just like was so angry. I was just like, oh, I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, what about donating this? Like, what if you guys were to donate it? And they're like, well, as the designer doesn't want to do that. The designer chooses not to have their stuff go to people who need it. Like they can't sell the garments. They don't want to give it to Goodwill. And I'm like, this is horrible. I'm like, well, then just rip your tag off and still give the garment. Like people need that. And a lot of companies and various designers don't do that. And it's just it's this hole. It's like an ever expanding hole that's just eating. It's a black hole in the fashion industry. It's just eating and causing so many problems, not just for like environmentally. I think it's the second biggest contributor to climate change and pollution emissions and carbon emissions, but it's like just overall just like useless. I mean, it's not useless, excuse me, it's overall wasteful to do that, to throw out these items, it's like when you have like food in your fridge or whatever and it's still good, and like, you know, I get it if it's moldy and expired, okay, throw it out. But like if that's good food, like why are we throwing out good food? You know, it's like, anyway. So I'm really happy that you've come to this realization and you're taking your expertise in physics and understanding how yeah, like microchips are created, computer chips are created, and how to now tie that into fashion designs.
Yeah.
Because another
Yeah.
interesting, yeah, what were you going to say? Because my brain is just in a million different thoughts of what you said, because it just made me think of so many things.
Yeah, I know there are brands who do not want to donate because it kind of hurts their brand image. So
Yeah.
they're kind of sweeping it under the rug. But at the same time, there are so many great ideas, good designs that are not able to be produced because there's not enough order. So
Yeah.
then creative designers are having a hard time enter the market. So I think both of them have to be changed. Both we need to make things in an on-demand way. So we only produce when people want it. So actually, I do this for my brand. It's small brand, so it's easy to do. Do this on demand and actually use technology to craft the sizing based on people's measurements. So it's all patterned. So
Yeah.
then we can adjust the pattern to the size of different body shapes. And we only make it when someone wants it and do on-demand production. And as well as using the latest technologies, like applying technology hardware onto clothing to make it more customizable. So this is an example of you can upload images and interesting things on the dress, and you are wearing this functional clothing, so it has more value than just a decorative piece of clothing. We also have like flexible electronics that you can customize. So you have a shirt that has constellation on it. So we actually did an upgrade of that by putting flexible LEDs that's arranged into a shape of a constellation. So and
Wow.
then decide what constellation they get. It lights up underneath the dress. So yeah, if people are interested, they can look at the Instagram page and go to our website, Art by Physicist website to check it out. But yeah, so there's just a lot of new ways of innovating, both in terms of manufacturing as well as the piece, the hardware itself. So we really need to allow this creativity to grow. At the same time, only produce things that people wanted. So that's why I started this brand. That's why I wanted to show communicate the technology out to show people what's already available, that's possible. At the same time, also we're small right now, but we would love to grow to the impact that we can really help STEAM education and environmental protection. So the profit that we make through this brand, we donate to STEAM education and environmental protection profits. So there are just a lot of ways that we can really push the society into a positive direction.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. I didn't know about the donation aspect of the profits. That's so incredible. Well, so I guess a question I have is like, you know, how you mentioned that you would do sort of, did you call ready to make it? So it would be made as soon as someone puts the order in, and to be to their measurements, and utilizing that technology to that, to be able to configure the right garment to fit the, you know, everyone's body is so different. And I think that's so incredible to not have such a standardized sizing system. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we all have been there where like you have like three pairs of jeans from three different companies and they're all a different size. Like I'm a two in one brand, four in another brand, six in another brand. And that always changes. And that's
Right.
just because, you know, obviously things are made differently by different manufacturers or different designers. And so if you've ever read, let me see how to phrase this question, I guess. Have you ever read the book Deluxe by Dana
No,
Thomas? It's about the fashion industry. It's
okay.
such a good book, and it's made me really appreciate early couture, and like very early fashion. So like Louis Vuitton when he was first starting, Chanel, Coco Chanel, tons of different designers. When they first started, they would take appointments, do a fitting, measure the individual, and it was usually like, you know, like real like royalty, like very, very wealthy. And that's really changed once kind of fashion became more accessible to, I think, like everyone. And so, the mass producing.
First industrial revolution that enabled it. Yeah.
What is, oh, it's the Industrial Revolution that enabled it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that would be sort of the answer to my question, because I was going to ask, like, why did we go from, you know, doing more custom measurements to sort of this standard system, when you sort of just showed us that you could be using technology to go back to sort of the custom measurements, and to only make the garment when someone actually needs or wants it, as opposed to making 4 million of the same black t-shirts and then hoping people will buy it.
Yeah. Well, that's the evolution of our society. In old times, only rich people could afford those custom-made clothes, and actually then everyone in the household learned how to sew. So the clothes are made by the mothers and grandmothers, and people who are not rich, they make it themselves. They don't have a lot of fashion to consume, to enjoy, but they had the labor within their houses to make it themselves. When first industrial revolution happened, there's a mass production of textile that was enabled, and then machinery caught up. Machinery can cut fabrics, and factories being built. It's just a natural movement when technology was there to support more people, and there's also more profit. So it's very it's more lucrative to then hire people to do the jobs in the factories and produce for tons and tons of people at the same time. And in order to make more profit, they have their standard sizing. So they there's actually no standard. Like you said, if you go to a different brand, it's completely different sizing chart. But technology enabled that. So it's more efficient to run more runs than having someone to make clothes for you, and much cheaper. So there's larger profit margin. So then everyone started doing that. You can still get custom-made clothing, but it takes months to do, and it's super expensive. So then you started to have all these segments in the fashion industry, from the luxury to the ready-to-wear, and the bridge and the lower ones, all the way to mass clothing. So the very top one can only be accessed by the very, very rich layer of people. And then the mass, don't talk about fashion, it's just very boring clothing, but they produce tons and tons. And then in the middle, there are people who try to be creative, but then they can't afford, they cannot support. It depends on where they want their market to be and what their consumers are in the segment. So they want to lower the bar for luxury. So things like ready-to-wear is cheaper to make and larger quantity. The lower the tier, the more quantity and cheaper, but larger quantity, so that the middle cannot access the productivity at the bottom, the mass.
I see.
So that has been going on for a very long time. There's a lot of systemic problem. There's the pollution that we talked about, and waste, as well as workers' rights and people working in terrible conditions. When the labor in a richer country raise, they will go to cheaper labor to exploit the labor there. So yeah, it has been going on for decades, but now we finally have the technology to really democratize the industry, to be able to allow creative designs to be digitally created, but also then be produced when someone wants it. when I say it's ready, it's not yet. That's why I'm building it. That's why we need to build things like that. But in terms of the physical technologies that's out there, like computer vision, machine learning, and all these new type of digitization becomes available, we have to put them together to support all kinds of people and help people go back to the custom-made stage in the efficient way. So you don't have to wait for months and pay tens of thousands of dollars to buy something that fits you.
Yeah, because that's how much those gowns probably were, and probably still are. You, I think, have shared a video before. Was it on Instagram or an email where it was sort of like a 3D printed, almost like a simulation? Was it CAD software? Is that, I want to like pull my laptop out and see if I can find it to show everyone. Is it on your Instagram or is it on your website?
It could be on the Instagram as well. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna, because I think this would just take this live stream to the next level if we can show everyone just what we're talking about. Because I remember seeing this video, it's like in my head, and just being like, whoa, this is incredible. Is it on this account, your Art by Physicist?
Yeah, it should be on your,
Okay. I'm gonna pull this up right now. I mean, it's super cool. I just love your first 3 photos are of me.
Yep. I love your photos. So beautiful.
Oh, my little kitty cat just always she knows how to just jump in and just become part of the image. Let's see. It was, here we go. I think this was it. Customized to your body shape. Okay.
Yeah.
So here I'm gonna, if you want to sort of explain this while the video is playing, that would be really cool.
Yeah, this is a piece of software I use. It's called Browseware V-Stitcher. So there are a few companies developing software like this now. So what I did was designing in the software, the 2D patterns. I drew all the things on the right here. That's in 2D. But then you can stitch it literally inside the software to form that 3D simulation on the left there. And then you can adjust the patterns to fit all kinds of avatars and body shapes. So this is a piece of, I can show you my actual physical garden.
Yeah, that would be great. My arm got a little tired holding that, but it's so incredible.
Yeah, this is the physical one. Is double-sided. You can wear on either side is a coat, and all of the flowers on the clothes are my hand-painted flowers, and then embroidered on the fabric. I did the painting all on the computer too. So
I was going to ask that.
Illustrator and Photoshop, I painted. These are my flowers in my garden. So this collection is called perennials. You have all these beautiful.
I see why. Yeah.
So when I was stuck at home during the pandemic, all these flowers kept me company, and I had such a great memory with them and imagined a piece like this. Then I designed it on the computer, digitally printed on the fabrics. That's another great thing about digital printing is so much more eco-friendly, and you can do it on demand. You only print as much as you need. So in old way, they're mostly still, most fabric printing companies still do the mass production way. They force designers to buy like 100 meters at a time. But this one, a spoonflower, they do any volume, any like 1 yard, 2 yards, whatever quantity you want. So then I could do things around, and you simulate it. I got measurements from the customers, and then adjust the pattern based on people's different sizes and shapes. Because it's not even only about size, it's also the shape. Different people have different measurements. then you can adjust all digital. You don't have to manually make a piece and send a sample to them, fit them physically, and send it back to you to change. Nothing of that. You can all adjust that on the computer. And when it's all ready, you can see the simulation. Then I had manufacturer make this for me. So it's all very cutting edge.
So incredible.
And one more thing.
Yeah.
You may not have noticed, but this code heats up. It's got a thin layer of e-textile inside. You can't see it because it's in between the two layers. You can plug in USB in your pocket and it heats up. So in winter you don't have to wear really thick clothes.
Oh my gosh, I need something like that because I used to wear like at least 7 different layers of sweaters and 3 pairs of pants when it would get really cold. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I wish there was. I wish I had known about this before when I was living in New York.
Not too late.
Yeah.
Not too late for the audience here either.
Exactly. So if anyone's ever in a cold location, you want a heated coat, just hit up Kitty and she can have it custom made to your measurements. And I think, and that's great too, because then it only takes the amount of fabric that's required for the person's body instead of extra fabric that you would just need and then have all these leftovers, hence causing more waste.
Yeah.
That's like so, yeah, like it seems like almost like a no-brainer, like how come more people aren't doing this? So
it's hard.
I was gonna ask,
I want to make it possible for everybody. So my brand is doing all these new discoveries and trying to find manufacturers that could support it, and also collaborating with all these tech companies to integrate technology with the design. It's all very so for everyone to be able to do anything like this, it really needs what my new business can support, and building the technologies to get it possible for people to do made to order and customize. Yeah.
Also, too, as a designer, I mean, you have to learn the software as well. So,
right.
Is that something that we can expect from Art by Physicists' Instagram account in the future? Are you going to make some tutorials of how to like learn how to use the software?
That's a good idea. I'll think about it.
I mean, imagine if more people. It's like coding. You know, it's like if more artists learned how to write, use a programming language, you can create art, digital art, in a totally different way. Then you would create maybe something just sort of more tangible, like, it is tangible in a way because you're still using your hands and the dexterity, but as opposed to painting a canvas, you're painting a digital canvas. And so I guess that makes me think like, the younger generation now is starting to learn how to code earlier and earlier than like when maybe we did. And so I think with designers and artists, it's going to be very similar, where hopefully they can learn this type of software in like elementary school. So that by the time that they maybe decide to go down the path of becoming like a designer for clothing, they can now incorporate this sort of like, this knowledge. I mean, this really is like just watching this and seeing it over and over again. Like it takes a lot of, I think, difficulty, even Photoshop, like you were mentioning, to do the digital painting that you did on the garment you just showed us. Like, I don't know how to really do that well. Like, I've learned a little bit of Photoshop here and there, but it's a big learning curve for a lot of people. Yeah. So my question, I guess, would be, gosh, it's like so many natural questions just coming because you're so incredible at everything you do, but it would be like, how long do you think it'll be that maybe we'll see more of the fashion industry doing something like this or utilizing technology like this?
Yeah, the industry is starting to pick up these new technologies. We're seeing that right now is the early adopter phase, that innovative designers start to try these new tools. And there are also a surge of 3D designers. They also use other types of modeling tools. I see a future where there's no clear cut between science disciplines and artistic disciplines. That's what I really want to also advocate for, like what you do too. STEAM is a combined skill set and appreciation of nature. So science itself is studying nature, and nature is art. So there shouldn't be any separation from the get-go. I think our older education system has been really dividing people put everyone into a little box. And to break out from the box is very hard. And I really see our younger generation start to merge all these disciplines, and there's always an interchangeable inspiration between the scientific, the engineering, and the artistic and the design disciplines. So I don't think it's a really a long term start when we start to see this kind of utilization of technology in a artistic field like design to really start changing the process. So I may say right now is the start, and it may seem to be a very long time to change the industry overall, but there are the new workforces are already shifting in that direction.
Wow. Yeah, and you're right about just sort of thinking back to sort of that, like, yeah, I've heard of the terms like fragmentation in education a lot, and it's so true. And I don't know if that was through an effort of trying to make it easier almost on like kids to sort of, just sort of decide, well, what's your favorite color? Blue, red, or green, and you have to decide one. Well, what do you want to do when you grow up? Like, science, art, or like business. And so it always has been kind of this like you mentioned, like boxing type of approach, which maybe was with an effort to make things a little bit more digestible and a little bit less difficult or stressful for a lot of people. But I think that might have actually caused like more of like a hindering of our evolution as humanity, because if we were to merge more of these together too, we would also, like, I think also as a species, meet so many more people who have various areas of knowledge, like say like, okay, sure, I was a science student, but I decided I wanted to do 6 years of an intense music program, which happens a lot. It really, really does, but it's still talked about as if it's this kind of rare thing in a way. But I think that's changing a lot more. I think it's just sort of the way we've sort of been accustomed to, what society should be like.
Right.
So
I think most of the problems in our society is caused by the silos. Is caused by people not communicating with each other, not understanding each other, and it creates all these barriers and even discrimination between industries and areas. That's not very healthy. So I really think that everything is connected, and we can move the society in a positive way if we appreciate what others are contributing to the society.
Exactly. Snaps for you. That was so great. I'm so happy to be on this live today. What were you looking at? Were you looking at a question or comment?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of comments earlier and questions, but we were not able to address them because it goes through.
I almost want to say sorry for asking so many questions, but at the same time, I'm like, not sorry, because it just like there were so many things you were talking about that just flowed. Like if we were having just a phone call with each other, I'd be like, all right, what about this? What about that? Because you just know so much, and like there's so many things that I don't understand, or that I don't know, that I'm learning from you.
No, I'm constantly learning from you too, and you do such a great job advocating for science, and you really make it so fun. And I've been reading your newsletters too. It's really nice. Yeah, really appreciate it. So I'm such a space fan. When I was a kid, actually, one of my very first aspiration was to become an astronomer. So I'm a stargazer. So I've always been using my little map to identify the constellations. That's why you see a lot of my designs are space themed.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
But yeah, but then
So
I move on to more practical fields like applied physics, condensed matter, and computer chips. But
yeah,
they are all related knowledge-wise.
it is. No, it definitely is. There was a question. I'm trying to scroll this new Instagram scroll feature for the comments and Instagram lives are a little bit wonky. It was something about cables, embroidered electrical yarns. Okay. If
Yeah,
whoever wrote that question, are you able to see it? Otherwise, I'm going to ask them to maybe write it again because
I can't see it here. There are too many. Are you able to read
um,
it?
I'm going to try to grab it, but it was along the lines of electrical cables. Oh, a question to Kitty. Instead of cables, can you use embroidered electrical yarns for current? Okay.
Yes,
Woo, so happy. I would
yes,
love to see that.
yes, you can. Yeah, actually, some of my designs I'm using conductive thread. You
Okay.
can embroider it onto fabric and put electronics on it. So there's a whole industry of electronics, wearable tech. Actually, I can show you this here. This is the one of the flexible LED panel, LED.
Whoa.
So this is conductive tape to connect the electrodes and also
Mm-hmm.
conductive thread on here. So you can just sew this battery holder directly onto it and you can light it up. This is
What?
nice the constellation here.
That's so cool. Wait, which constellation is that? Is that Gemini?
No.
Geminis? No. Which constellation is that? Wait, does anyone
It's a
else?
big one. Yeah. Can the audience guess?
It's not Ursa Major?
No.
No. Can anyone guess what this constellation is? Um, no, it's not Scorpius. It's not Orion. Oh, someone help me out. Type it in the chat. What is this constellation?
It's big on the sky. It's Virgo.
It's Virgo. Okay. I was gonna say that's like I was trying to think which constellation has a ton of stars in it. I
Yeah.
know the Leo constellation is kind of small. Virgo is that's like 20 stars, I think. I remember making it in it's a
So you
lot of
can do things
stars.
like this. You can put it behind the fabric,
That's so
light up your
incredible.
sky.
That is so incredible. Wow.
So
That's so
yeah, this is
cool.
already been done and is also printed circuit. This is silver, is printed traces.
Wow. That is
So there are
so
many ways,
incredible.
yeah, you can make flexible electronics nowadays.
That's so
The question
awesome.
is what you want to do. What you want to
Yeah.
make. Anything is
Do you
possible.
ever take suggestions from like customers, like ask them what they'd want to make?
Yeah, I have been. And I think we need to get to the point that it allows people to customize all in an aggregated way. So it's not really scalable if you just do one at a time. And you need to have a way to have the manufacturing on the back end be supportive enough to say whenever a customer orders something customizable, you need to be able to produce it. So
I see.
yeah, right now it's always like manufacturing wants large orders. So
Yeah,
how do you get a large order enough to still make their manufacturing efficient? So that's a
I
much
see.
larger. So when you mentioned about the communication, so actually when I was studying all this in the past few years and decided to drive this new technology enablement for fashion was also because I realized there's a mindset shift. It's not just about the technology. It's also about communicating and allowing more people to understand the technology
Hmm.
and also personally be able to drive a business. So it's not just about developing the tech anymore. It's also how do you make something that is really small to a scalable model. So I think a lot of people are pursuing that. The current industry is pursuing that by doing mass production of a simple non-creative design. But how do we do that? How do we scale it in a way that all kinds of creative ideas can be made, can be generated? So
yeah,
that is the goal.
like NFTs. Have you made any yet?
I am in the process of making some. So
Really?
using this kind of simulation tools, you can.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I don't know how the economy will work to have everything all digital. So the idea of NFT, I think in the general sense, so you don't actually have to use NFT in order to sell digital fashion. But NFT now it became a kind of a buzzword, and
yeah, there's a bunch of hearts being sent when you say NFT. Let's just see how many hearts we can get. NFT, NFT, NFT. And of course the hearts stop. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's a buzzword. The general perception of it is that somehow you can make it a digitized ownership that cannot be copied.
Right.
But it's not quite ready there yet. It doesn't allow real copyright protection. It's all kind of a legal contracts, not a technology guarantee.
Right.
But
well, it's kind of based on sort of like your Coinbase, right? Isn't it like by crypto? So by using like crypto to purchase an NFT, some type of cryptocurrency within, like, I think what was the cryptocurrency that it uses? Ethereum maybe. And so within that kind of Ethereum universe, this is my best way of understanding this, by the way, I'm still learning as we go. Once it's in there, you have the code to that NFT in a way, sort of the details of it, and no one else can own it. And so once that's there, and then it shows like your wallet ID with it, so then you know, oh, this person is the owner. And then you can't see that copied or replicated anywhere else within this sort of Ethereum wallet world. And this just, it really is like a weird.
But then how do you stop someone from taking your NFT, for example, a piece of art, and then print it onto other things and sell the other thing?
Well, you could. People are doing that, but it's more so the ownership in the Ethereum world.
Sure.
And I keep calling it the world, but there's a better way to sort of explain it because it's within the ledger. Maybe someone else could explain it better than I could, but that's, I guess, that's sort of the main thing, is having it in there.
Yeah, I have a friend who made NFT eyewear designs. Ooh. They sold it as the digital piece you can virtually try on and wear it on your photo. But then they discover some people just use it and Photoshop it.
Yeah.
So because you need to spend, if you buy the real NFT, it costs you $90. But then you can just Photoshop it.
Right. Which, so I guess then, do you think it'd be copywriting, like finding a way to sort of copyright this?
Copyright has established. Yeah. So, and also, I'm not so sure how the economy will be to move everything digital.
Blockchain. Thank you. Sorry.
No, the thing is, you have to wear clothes. So how much of the market is going to shift to the digital world, and how much of that is going to stay physical? That's an interesting question that we will learn as time comes by. Will be a mystery. Yeah,
because like when it comes to like the metaverse, for instance, like I've been watching a ton of videos going down rabbit holes about this, and I have an Oculus set, and so like I use that sometimes, but like I can't imagine myself being like, I think it's like Ready Player One or a few other movies where you're completely immersed in it for the whole day or for like a very long period of the day. So I've heard like, Mark Zuckerberg talk about augmented reality glasses and having those sort of on at all times. So you're in the real world, but it's digitized to a way. Which, if no one has ever seen the series called Feed, it is such a crazy series. If you ever want to go into a deep dive, where the contact lens basically do that, and you're able to access feed. Everything in the real world are basically QR codes, and you would scan that with your eyes, and then you actually see what you'd want to see in the digital. That's probably how I'd see the integration happening, where it's worth, in a way, kind of the money of the experience, but it's still there's still so many problems that can go wrong. Like so many problems that can happen. And the show, I think, addresses it really well. And even thinking too about sort of the metaverse, that also addresses it really well. But on the other hand, you have video games. You have like, people who spend tons of money on gaming platforms where you're in this universe, in this world, because it's entertaining, it's fun. You get to talk to your friends as long as you have a microphone, which is what you have also on the Oculus set. And so you could go and you could meet people in these like coffee shops in the metaverse or in a fitness studio. And some of them are real people on the other side of the planet. So it's like another way of socializing. It's like another way of social media. So I think that it's still very interesting. Like for sure, like I probably would spend maybe like if we go to an amusement park like Six Flags, it's $60, I think, usually to get in. Maybe that can change depending on when you're going. To like physically go on a roller coaster experiences. And then there's places like, I think Paris Hilton launched kind of her own like amusement park world shopping experience, something like that. I don't know what she charges to get in. Maybe it's free, but I can imagine like spending like $5, $10, whatever it is, to sort of go into this world and see a virtual show, a performance. Or like, and so this is something that I would entertain the idea, but I just wonder how far it would go.
Yeah, I find it interesting that this kind of experience will purely be visual. So I don't know how acceptive of people for this kind of visual only experience. And we don't have like taste or smell or touch. And I know people who are working on wearables to enable these. And I sometimes have a dystopia kind of imagination of the future if we enable all these wearables to give us all the senses, porting our physical body completely separated. We will all be enjoying the metaverse and living in that world. What's gonna happen to our physical body? Eventually, we just lie in a pot that's physically all isolated. I don't know if that's the kind of world that I want to live in. So I actually have been making a graphic novel that has that element in it. So I don't know if it's convenient for you to put up my personal Instagram account. I published a drawing there. So what does the evolution look like? From looking at the phone to the computer, then AR, VR with the gloves, and then maybe sitting in a chair that everything on our body has sensors and haptics. But then we may as well just be lying in a pot. That's all.
It's like the Matrix.
Yeah.
People have. Are we already in a simulation? This is very real to us, but can we see between the lines? Is there binary code everywhere? Are we actually in a simulation? Although I don't think that that's true, are we going to be putting ourselves in a simulation? That's kind of the question. That's what it sounds like. I'd love to read this graphic novel.
Yeah, it's on my website. You can take a look. It's got the storyline all laid out. And I've just been drawing when I have time. I just did a drawing today. It's part of the story.
I want to check out this graphic novel.
Yeah, so this is a way for me to record my understanding of the world, and this is what I just did.
Whoa. Bunch of
It's
chess
about
pieces.
it's about war in general.
I see. Yeah. What does it say on the bottom? It's backwards, so it's a little hard
Oh
for me to
no.
read. It's not, it's just because the camera, that's all. So if you could read it, that'd be great.
Yeah, so the top says, whose war is this really?
Hmm.
Where are the checks and balances? Who are the sacrificed?
Mm.
And the
And then what
bottom
is it?
piece is, yeah, we should have been on the same side.
Wow. And then all the chess pieces. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
powerful, especially with what's happening right now. Oh my gosh. Um,
yeah,
gosh, and it
so
makes you think about too when you play a game of chess,
hmm
you're not, yeah, what happens at the end? All those pieces end up on one side or the other until you
well,
play the next game.
who has the real power? Who's really manipulating?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I feel frustrated when we are doing all these things to make the world more beautiful, and we want to make a positive contribution to the society. But then there's always a larger thing that's setting us
Yeah.
backward. All these larger forces that's stopping us from making real positive progress is beyond our control. So I think just in terms of each of us, what we could do is within our realm of expertise, we can make the direction a bit more positive. So I
Yeah.
cannot control the bigger picture, but I can create technologies to help people bring out all these happy and beautiful, creative aspects of humanity. And
Yeah.
so,
Kitty, that's so well said. Yeah, because yeah, right when you started saying that, my mind was going in the direction of as long as, within our like immediate life, with those around us, those we interact with, and what we put out into the world, if we try to just remain positive and kind of focus on like what you're doing on that small part of the entire tree, whether it's that like one branch or if you're in the roots, to just continue making that positive impact, because that could end up having a total ripple effect that could end up affecting, you know, people for years to come way after us, before, without us even having prior knowledge to. There's a lot that we don't know. And I think that you just said that really well, that it's a matter of sort of thinking about like what it is you're putting up, because there will always be bigger forces that are negative. There will be big forces that are negative, that things will occur and they'll happen. And it's unfortunately like something we can't always have control out of, but that's what makes, I think, the beautiful things that much more important, that much more
yeah,
valuable. And it's what even gives the definition of the word beautiful to it, because we wouldn't know what beautiful was if we didn't know what ugly was, or negative, or bad. So I'm going to read your dystopian book,
is
final,
that
your
quality
graphic novel.
though?
I'm currently on your website, which
Oh,
looks
okay.
awesome, by the way. So everyone should definitely go check that out. A Renaissance woman in the 21st century. I love it. I'll read that a little bit. So we're just at about an hour.
Yeah,
So I am thinking of probably wrapping here. How are you feeling?
yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I'm
All
very
right.
excited to see all these audience joining. So thank you very much for being.
Yeah, everyone. I love all these hearts that have been coming through, especially when we started saying NFT. So funny. I just like knew that was gonna happen. I was like, it's getting pushed by Instagram right now. There's all the hearts again. But Kitty, this has been so incredible. Thank you for taking the time to come on here and chat about your incredible designs and everything that you're doing. You're putting so much beauty out into the world, so much intelligence and knowledge, and I think that that's so important. And I really hope to have you on Space Talk soon on my podcast as well.
Do that. Thank you, Athena. You're a perfect representation of brain and beauty, and you're showing the world what
Oh,
we should all be doing. So
well, as are you, seriously. Oh gosh. Well, thank you again, Kitty, and everyone who joined here. You guys are so awesome. And we definitely should be going live, I think, more often. This has been so great. So yeah, thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. Please go check out Astro Athens and Art by Physicists will be online.
Alrighty. Bye, everyone. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.